Wait, so- This Logan? 1 minute. You ready? It's fine. Call to order the regular common council meeting Monday, January 17th, 7 P.M. Roll call.
Preble,
Here.
Crisanti,
Here.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Here.
Burdick,
Here.
That is pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And make a public meeting notice.
Meeting notice was posted on Friday, June 14th at the library, the post office, the city hall, and the website.
Thank you. But also acceptance of agenda.
Motion to accept.
A second.
Motion and a second to accept. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carried. Personal appearances, anyone in the audience that wish to speak on the agenda? Okay, we will move on to the minutes from June 3rd council meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion and second to approve the June 3rd minutes. Any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Committee reports, finance, Tim.
Finance met earlier today, and I'll make a motion to approve bills and payroll in the amount of $442,922.73.
I'll second.
Motion and second to pay the bills. Any questions on the bills? Hearing none, roll call.
Shaw,
Yes.
Preble,
Yes.
Crisanti,
Yes.
Candy Davis.
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Motion passes.
And then as a committee, we decided that the fire district shortfall payment should be a discussion amongst all of us as other people. And therefore, we moved it on to council without a recommendation. And therefore, I think now is the appropriate time to have that discussion. So I don't know how to kick that off, other than, can I ask Ramona, can you kick it off for us?
Certainly, if you'd like, I'll do the brief synopsis of the staff report that's on page 7 of your packet. So the district is estimating a shortfall of the end of this year to be $96,000, around $97,000 for the west side of the district. And it's due to 2 revenue shortfalls from 2 programs. And the city's portion of that 96,000 is just short of 30,000. So 12,000, the first program that has a shortfall is the FAP, the Fund Assistance Program. There was an assumption made in the budget that revenues received in that program at the 2023 level would be repeated in 2024, and those were COVID levels. So there was extra money provided, and that won't be happening in 2024. So there's a $12,276,000 shortfall, and that's everybody on the west side. So ours is a portion of that. And Candy, or Jim, if I misspeak and I do, please correct me. The second program that has a change in payments is a Medicare Medicaid reimbursement for transfers. And that transfer business you've heard the chief talk about many times is moving patients from between facilities. It is not a 911 emergency service. It's an extra piece of business that the west side of the district has entered into a few years ago. It is intended to be a money maker, and it is not. There was to have been some gap funding provided by the federal government through a program, GEMT program, to cover the change in Medicare payments for transfers, which was significantly reduced. And that program is still pending federal approval. That's the lion's share of the predicted shortfall. The actual shortfall, of course, will not be known until the end of the year. It's just a prediction at this point as to 6,000. So the fire district is asking the West communities to provide the funding to cover the predicted shortfall now. The district board, however, made a motion to request each community fund 50% of the projected shortfall at this point, and then waiting for more solid numbers at the end of the year. The only note I would make is that you may recall at budget time, we included an extra $15,000 in the contingency fund in the event the fire district had a shortfall in their funding. So with that, I will stop and try to answer any questions, but Candy and Jim have been talked to the chief many times about this, have a lot of information. You did receive hopefully an email today that forwarded from Candy that the chief had sent to her regarding a reminder. I'll summarize it, a reminder to you that the extra shared revenue was intended to support fire and EMS and police
And roads.
and roads. And
That,
yes,
that Act 12 was not just fire by any stretch of the
it
imagination.
was very broad.
The 1,500 that we put into our budget, 15,000, thank you, 15,000. That is not something that Chief Pickering was planning on. That is just something that we as a
Correct,
community set aside in case of a shortfall
from the shared revenue.
from the sheriff.
I'm not so, I can't say he was planning on it or not, well, no, I mean, you know, he was hoping that all of the municipalities or towns would apply some of their shared revenue to the fire district as needed.
If memory serves, he actually asked for the majority of it to
Yeah.
start off.
Correct.
Depends on, that's a technicality. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't.
He did.
Oh,
I'm not
I'm
pretty sure because,
No,
I'm not shy because
I'm just saying,
That's, Tim and I have a.
yeah, we were in another meeting where it was like, we were
Yeah.
you totally misunderstood the whole thing.
Well, Tim, can I ask you to clarify? Earlier you said you were unaware that he even thought about it, now you just said he was planning on it, or?
No, so-
Rephrase that, I'm asking what I heard, you might have misspoke.
Yep, nope, I didn't mistake it. You misunderstood. It was 15,000 that we
Yeah.
have in our budget. That is, I want to know if he was aware of that 15,000. The Act 12 was 300 something thousand that he originally came back to us and said that he wanted the vast majority of that to go to fire. They're two separate things.
Shared revenue, yep, correct.
It's gonna be a discussion here with.
Oh.
For. Yeah, we're still good as far as I'm.
Well, I just asked for clarification.
No, I.
Boy, that's a good question, Mayor, can we, Bill, because.
Yes, you can, could you ask?
I'm not so sure anybody would want to make a motion until they have all the.
Right, that's what I said,
Yeah.
I'm perfectly comfortable with giving.
Information.
Direction or more information, yep.
The, as Mona said, one thing we gotta be clear on, and we're clear at the meetings, is that this is a projected amount. I mean, we're only halfway through or whatnot, I mean. The idea that, one of the problems we had with this is that. Some of this shortfall was, again, due to funds that were ARPA funds the state gave them, which was a one-time shot. For some reason, the district budgeted to spend it again. And not only that, to spend extra on top of that they thought we were gonna get. And and just in his defense, the governor did give a speech saying he was gonna give all this money. But the legislature never passed it, so it's not coming. So it's not gonna be there, but you can't budget for money you're
Right,
through a speech, but anyway, just so you know, it was all, but none of this is for sure that it's gonna be there, and that this shortfall. So it's like, we already know what some of the shortfall is, but we don't know, because it was budgeted for money that isn't gonna come.
I will say
Spend-
that sorry, Jim, the FAP, the state FAP, that Jim was just referencing,
That's it.
was budgeted. In hindsight, Chief has said, shouldn't have, but he did, this one because the governor did say. It would be paid out, it then has been put on hold. won't be paid out till May of 2025, said that it is in the budget. You can see it in the budget if you go onto the Wisconsin budget area, it's there. I would caution, just like our budget, it's there, anything can happen, correct? I mean, you know, we're assuming it's gonna be paid out next May, 2025. However, that's the smallest of the two grants for funding. The biggest grant is the federal GEMT, and that's where I think it was in 2022, Medicare and Medicaid was paying, I think we have it as maybe $300 a transfer. Medicare and Medicaid would be paying that. They cut their amount of money that they would pay. They came back to the department and they've done that. They can do this from what I understand. And they said, we're cutting that, say 300 to 155. You need to reimburse us what we've already paid for from the beginning of the year. And we did have to pay them back $100,000. Yeah, so, but then what happens, then all of these primarily are those transfer calls. So every time the department goes on a transfer call, we're only getting half of the amount of reimbursement from Medicare, Medicaid, or pay that we used to get. So the federal government came up with this GEMT program that says, oh, we're gonna take care of that. As a buffer, we're gonna pay X amount of money that Medicare and Medicaid has taken away, so we're gonna pay that. Well, they haven't, and right now, who knows what's gonna happen? That's not something that's in the budget, that, who knows, we may not know for another year, we may not know for 2 years, we may not know till the next election, who knows? But that's the biggest grant that we're not getting. And so that's primarily for anybody, any calls that are Medicare, Medicaid patients. Primarily, those calls are transfer calls. There are some 911 calls that are Medicare patients, but the majority of the calls are the transfer.
Does $155 cover our costs?
No. Now,
That figure's gone down over the years dramatically anyway. The 350 or whatever was half of what we got 2 years, 3 years ago went up. And we obviously bill a lot more and get nothing, but insurance pays more, so.
So you know, say 2,100 per transfer, is that what we bill on average?
I think it depends on the type of transfer. You know, if it's a straight hospital to hospital with no immediate care, if it's taking a patient to dialysis, or if it's going and taking somebody to Milwaukee, I think it just depends on the type of call. We do not do those anymore. Those scheduled dialysis are running to Milwaukee because Medicare is not paying. So we're turning them down. We are doing the hospital to hospital, Beloit, Janesville, Edgerton. I will say, and it took me a long time to figure this one out, because I've been pushing on, do we stay in the transfer business, do we not? Because I request every month that we talk about the financials at the board meeting. We're losing money. However, if we got out of, what's the best way to say this? If we got out of the transfer business, we'd be losing more. We're losing less money because
If
we
we kept
do,
the same staff.
if we have the same staffing.
Right.
We do make a small amount of money. It's not, I would say, we generate revenue. We don't make a profit. So, Chris, that's a good point. This is more or less, if you ask me, a staffing issue. And then also address whether we stay in the transfer business or not. Because the transfer, for each shift, we cover 24 hours, 7 days a week. We have 3 different shifts, and we have 2 people on the 911 calls each shift. We have 2 people on in the station for transfers, okay? All shifts, 24/7. 911 goes out on a call, those 2 people go, depending on at least transfer people stay back, in case there's a transfer call. Unless this 911 call is at the interstate or is a pulseless non-breather where they need to take a extra crew or they need to send the fire engine. Out on the interstate, you send the fire engine to protect the crew from vehicles and for extra hands. If it's a pulseless non-breather, they're going to 4 hands are better than 8 hands are better than 4. And so this transfer crew handles transfers, they handle backup for 911, they handle the fire truck if needed, and simultaneous calls, which we are running quite a few.
So in order
That's
for
right,
us to come up with, on the expenditure side of the $96,973 shortfall, we'd have to cut staff.
Correct.
There is no other, that number doesn't come out of anything else.
Not that I'm aware of, no, it would be staff, yes, it would be staff, I'm not so sure of anything else in the budget that we could cut, it's staff.
So are there any members down there or any employees down there as firefighters? Or is it just the 4 people there at one time?
The other individuals that are there are administrative people, some are firefighters, yes.
But I'm thinking more on the nights and weekends, is there people
Oh, yeah,
that were fired, so you have your.
they are fired, yes,
And your 2 ambulances?
yes. All hires nowadays are fire/EMT. They have to have both. Jim,
That for instance.
oh, the other thing, Thursday night, I do want to tell you is, I pushed real hard about this being a projected shortfall at the end of the year. I said you're projecting this as the shortfall that's gonna be at the end of the year. Yes, and I said, then how do we know exactly what the shortfall is? Because these numbers are based on number of calls. We don't know what that shortfall is gonna be until we know the number of calls. And he agreed, but I had pushed real hard that we should pay before the end of the year. I cannot.
I think we're getting close to the point where you should make a motion,
Oh,
either up
okay.
or down, and then have the discussion.
Okay, what is it, the timing?
No, I would have cut it off a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, okay,
The only discussion.
okay.
Well, okay, well, yeah, all right. I was gonna say, part of the motion should come some information before, I guess, we're doing it, depending on how the motion's gonna be made. Who wants to make the motion?
Do you have some other important information that they should know before they make a motion? Because if so, that would be okay.
Yeah, there is one more piece of very important information, but you did have it in your staff report. It's at the board meeting Thursday night, a motion was made to not go for the 100% for each of the municipalities, but to suggest each area pay 50% of that and then see where the budget lands at the end of quarter 3.
My suggestion would be that we release the 15,000 as our pathway for now. That we have budgeted for.
And that's about half of what they're gonna be thinking they're looking for, so that was kind of, I was gonna say, the motion.
Just so we can get a motion on, so we can continue discussion.
That's kind of what.
It could always be changed as we discussed further.
Right.
Okay?
Do you get the money back if they don't spend it all? I'm just curious.
I
You're the
have,
taxpayer.
they have to make a motion on
Yeah,
it.
sorry.
That's gonna be part of the.
Okay, do you want me to make a motion to restart the process? I'll make a motion to provide the Edgerton Fire Protection District $15,000 towards their projected shortfall for 2024.
Second.
Motion and second.
Who seconded that?
To provide $15,000 to the district, sure there's further discussion, because I have someone.
So my question is similar to what Chief just said, and that is not, how do we make sure that at the very least, we stay within the original budget? And we don't, and hopefully try to work towards the shortfall expenditure and not just spend because we said we could spend to get the year. How do we control that? And by we, that's the right. That's not.
And that's part of the board is having the issues with, because honestly, there's gotta be some tough choices made that aren't being made. And if this isn't if this money isn't paid, he's gonna have to make those choices. He's gonna have to make his cuts, and he's gonna have to staff it properly and things, but the district board so far has not pushed that. Candy's got it as far as right now, pushing an audit to show what, if we're actually gonna be short, pushing 50% to get to the point where show us the rest before because we're not just throwing the money, but the choices, the staffing choices have to be made to get it there. And this 15 grand, we already had set aside, that's fine, but when it comes down the road, if those tough choices haven't been made, I couldn't back paying any more than this. I don't mind going on the record with it.
And then,
The difference between now and then is we are gonna be losing. I mean, he's gonna lose more money until he makes those choices. So the 15 grand, you're not gonna see it. He's gonna show a bigger loss than that because he's not making the choices fast enough. These people have to be notified, union wise, everything else to get rid of, to cut the staffing. And we've been, I wish he was sitting here, we could tell him he's been reluctant to do so. So we gotta make a statement somewhere. And this is, I'm just giving them the 15 we've got, but we also have to say that the rest is not gonna come, and we can't put that in motion, but I mean, it shouldn't come until tough choices have been made, because we're not gonna keep funding it.
And the revenues aren't gonna be there next year.
They're not,
all done.
most of that, yeah, that money's not coming, the GEMT is not, it's not even gonna.
no, and I will say there was one of the smaller towns that did speak up firsthand. Sean was able to, see the lively discussion.
Yeah,
That,
thanks for going for me, Sean, I appreciate it.
that,
anytime.
I want all of you to consent, because they're open meetings. That one of the towns did indicate, we have got to make a decision with this. Period, meaning, is this we in or out of the transfer business? Or is this just strictly a staffing issue? Do we need 4 people on 24/7? If so, that becomes a budgeting thing for next year. So at least it wasn't just me kind of harping on this. We need to make a decision. Having said that, it's gonna be the same story. It's gonna be come staffing time. It'll be, well, then whether we're in the transfer business or not, we need to fund 2 additional people.
And that is gonna be, the board's gonna end up saying, yeah, we're gonna staff a dying business, literally. You're gonna pay for it every year, it's losing money. If that's what they want to staff, if that's the way they run paramedics, although 2 paramedics per, or all that, if that's what they want to do. You're gonna pay for it every year.
But it's not even the 2 paramedics, it's instead of the 2 transfer people. If we say we're getting out the transfer business, it's keeping those 2 people and not going on transfers.
As a flex group.
As a flex
Which will
group.
lose more money if they stay the same
Correct.
staffing.
Correct.
You're gonna lose
We
even more
did have
money
a
because you won't
paramedic-
pick up $32,000 so far this year. We made
Correct.
on IFTs that you wouldn't have made, but this is a staffing issue. If he's gonna maintain it, you're gonna pay to lose the money, and lose money every year. No doubt, no way around.
I will say it's gonna, and I don't know how we do this, but it becomes, what does the community want? What level of service does the community want? Right? Do they want to ensure that when those phones go off, that the first crew is out the door, that somebody's nearby, that they can make a good response time for that call? Number 1. Number 2, if you're at the hospital and you need to be transferred to another hospital, do we have a crew here in town that can pick you up and transfer you to another hospital, or you might have to wait 4 hours until a third-party transfer crew, which by the way, they're starting to get out of the business. So it's kind of like, what's the level of service? If we do only go with, get out of the transfer business, stay with two staff for 911, our response time will go down for that second simultaneous call, number one. The other thing, Jeff, can I say something without you? Right. Can this be off the record or not? Can this be off the record or not? Seriously, can I make one little statement off the record? There's no such thing or not? Maybe it's not off the record.
Well, no.
Oh.
Recorded.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I did suggest, and I just wouldn't want the person to hear it like from a public venue, but I did suggest to Chief, because the Edgerton Hospital loves our transfer business, and we do, that's a wonderful service to our community. But if other transfer businesses are getting out of the business because they're not making money, we need to think about that here too. And I have been hearing from a couple places that the hospital really, it's beneficial to them and to their patients and to our constituents to stay in that transfer business. I would love to have somebody have a conversation with the hospital to see if they could help to fund or subsidize while we're in this mess with Medicare reimbursement. So just one person like to say. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but that might be another possibility to think about.
And I know Jim mentioned, about it. With these type of things, with the revenues not coming in that you were counting on. There's been an audit done for 3 years, 4 years.
Correct.
It needs to be done. I mean, something like that may have shown up with an auditor.
So
It may not have, but
and
it's
I,
gonna show up for next year because we're gonna come on that revenue that's not gonna be there.
I did, drive that point home last Thursday night. Each month we've been getting an update, and she did indicate that we have a quote from one, auditing firm. Auditing firms in this type of business, it's a special auditor that you need, just like we do for the city. And they're short staffed too, and he said he does have one quote, he would like to have at least 2 to 3 quotes. And so he's been holding up on the one, and I told him at the next meeting, we absolutely have to have that one quote to make a decision, and if we don't have that one quote, so be it. We need to make sure we have an audit done, which I've been saying we need to have done for quite some time.
Do we know what happened with the company that's previously did it?
Seeker, they raised, I wouldn't say double, but they terribly increased their fees. They're quite a bit. I have to go back and look to see what it was. And Chief didn't think, well, plus not only did they increase their fees, but they did it outside of the budgeting process. He didn't think was fair.
They priced themselves out. They didn't want to come over. That's pretty much what it looked like when they did it. It was intentional.
We hard to find somebody that's gonna wanna catch up from.
And before I get too far, when I kept saying staffing, and I am by no means a fire district staffer or a person that I don't do between paid on call, paid on premise, all that good stuff. But I do know when you're looking at full-time employees all the time, you're paying a lot of money, health benefits and everything, retirement benefits and everything. And I don't, like I said, I suggested they look at part-time, whatever all that other stuff. Raise that price, raise that, whatever, we're gonna be looking at this guy, so what we're doing now for this motion is putting a Band-Aid on something, and pay more, twice as much for next time.
And I did talk about the possibility of who we do paid on call versus paid on premise versus full-time without bennies, and they don't exist anymore. Paid on call and paid on premise, it's just, you can't get people to do that.
Yeah, opinion.
Well, even with that, they have full-time jobs, they're doing it, you know. So,
We look forward to paying a deficit every year, making it up.
But I assume we're gonna budget appropriately if the staffing level stays the same, because the community decides that they want the level to stay the same, then the budget ought to
Right.
reflect that next year.
the budget ought to reflect it next year, so my guess is that's probably gonna be, but I would really like to. And I don't know what the right way to do it is, to find out, get community involvement, find out what the community feels. Now, if you're in the unfortunate situation that you need an ambulance, clearly you want one and you want one really quick. I get that. To the point though that we feel that our budget should be and your taxes should be, we will have two on standby just in case. That's the part that, you know, how do you balance that? I don't know.
Longer term, if we're talking about additional buildings, and that obviously means additional staffing, and we're already running into this. This doesn't feel like we're in a good spot moving forward.
Well, we're not running into the fact that we don't have staff, we're running into the fact that we need the money to pay the staff.
Okay, but if you put additional buildings on that, that just exacerbates the issue.
Well, some of the yes and no. Depends on how they're staffed, but some of these buildings, you know, are the east. The headquarters is gonna be in Newville. That's gonna be the administration office, so the people that are sitting at the bank, the old bank building, now it's gonna be out there. We're still gonna have staff here. I know.
Well, I guess my question then would be, based on Tim's, does an extra building generate any kind of revenue? It's certainly gonna generate.
No, but it's gonna generate operating
It's
expenses.
gonna be up that,
Yeah.
right?
Definitely not.
It's already, it's gonna increase the side of the ledger that we already can't have increase or decrease. It's only gonna get worse if we add things like a new building, unless for some reason that generates revenue, which you already said we can't.
That is only gonna be a
I don't think
subsidy.
the answer to being short is to spend more.
Is there no way we could use contract people?
So years ago,
We did.
we did.
Okay,
Years ago, we did. Before the fire department and ambulance were combined.
okay.
Then they joined, it became the district. So right now, we're the district, the only way to use contract people. That gets into the whole intergovernmental agreement. We don't do, I mean, we have our own, it's our people. The hospital could contract for a transfer,
Okay, okay,
third party,
yeah,
Ryan Brothers,
yeah.
So wrong.
I don't know if
Something that does
they're,
just
Superior.
medical transportation,
that's just.
non-emergency medical transportation.
That's it.
There are med vans available, so I've been texting my wife, who's a nurse with Mercy Health, and she's very in tune with this because she does utilization review. And she sent me an article about the certified public expenditures fact sheet and how it works, where Medicaid members gets transport services, GEMT provider bills Medicaid for the transport services. Medicaid reimburses the provider at state rates. Provider reports their costs of services annually, and then the provider gets an annual supplemental reimbursement. So I could forward this all to you. And of eligibility for any ambulance service provider owned by a municipality or a group of municipalities is eligible for the supplemental payment if they provide ground and emergency transportation services to members of Badger Care Plus.
So keep that GEMT funding, that's the piece we're talking about, that the government is not paying out right now, it's in limbo.
We're 155,000 behind and they're paying us. That's how bad the district is right now, waiting on
Right.
money.
Well, then they have Medivans, as long as the person knows in advance that they have an appointment, which most people who have to go to an appointment know in advance, they could call these Medivans and they'll
I agree.
pick them up.
No doubt, I do not disagree.
I just think it's,
What I'm saying
I'll
is
keep it
the
myself.
hospital is saying, this is a service to the community that we like to have provided and the fire district helps to provide it. I am not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong.
Because a lot of times the police are the first ones on those PMBs, and we're the ones that are providing the service.
Okay, but we're not talking about transfers right now. We're talking, and you're absolutely right, chief. You are absolute, I think the fire department and the police
When
department.
was the last time there was an audit? Did they have an
They
audit
said about
last year?
3 years ago.
Okay, 3 years ago, they had an audit. Okay. How would the city get along if we didn't have an audit until 3 years ago? How was that run?
Well, I agree. you've
And
got-
yet it's said that they want to build more buildings. Why can't they use what they have? It angers me because I'm a taxpayer too.
Yeah.
For the Lakeside Fire District, and those are my tax dollars too.
Yeah.
And I don't want to throw more, good money at bad things. So yes, I am frustrated because me and my police officers try to save money for the city every way we can. Yet they don't think twice about saying, oh, we're gonna have a shortfall. We don't know how much, but give us some money. Well, Mona, we're gonna have a shortfall too. I want more money.
Of a shortfall.
Yeah, I mean, we can all
get
vote,
that.
and I'm not trying to pick on you.
But I will say,
That's poor management. That's poor management. That's how I see it. I'm sorry,
I will say, something to think about is how much I think we pay close to 300,000 for the fire department with our annual budget. If we need to think, I'm just putting information out there. We should think about what are some of the city departments' budgets. I'm not disagreeing that maybe some things need to be changed up and relooked at and auditing. Let's look at this as a global thing, that $300,000, is that in line with the other departments that we fund?
But the other departments, they don't have the revenue that the ambulance does, and there's no bills for fire, there's bills for fire calls. So they have revenue coming in too, to offset that.
I agree,
We don't for police department or public works, so.
Let's just say, Chief, that maybe the best budgeting practices weren't in place last year when this. But hopefully they will be in the future.
And again, an audit's gonna tell us a
I
lot.
think it'll help all
I
of
mean,
us.
they've done everything before that
If there is one.
pretty much minute.
But you guys,
I'm willing to talk to Edgerton Hospital.
Well,
In our benefit, I'm looking at this medical transfer. I know some of the, out of pockets involved because I sell them insurance.
Mhm.
And I know what they do and what their pitfalls are. And yeah, it's an expensive thing. And how come we're picking up the expenses? When there's companies out there.
And we're hearing some of these companies are going under because they're not making money. I don't know how many, I'm just telling you some of the things we're hearing, so. I think that's great.
Right now, the motion on the floor is to write $15,000 to the fire district.
Or is there shortfall for 2024?
Projected short.
Projected, excuse me, yes.
If anybody has any thoughts on this, but I would say we do not pay anything else until our audits are caught up. If you would be interested in putting that as an amendment to the motion, I'd be happy with that, but
And is it audit caught up or under contract for an audit? That audit's gonna take a long time,
Right.
Yeah,
because they have to go back to.
I'd be okay with under contracts. Unless it comes back and one, 4 or 5 times.
Okay, what were you looking for? I missed you. Showing, pending an audit?
Audit being under contract
What about
before we hand over any
any additional?
additional.
The only reason I wasn't adding that to anything was because we can cover that on the second part, because we're gonna give them the 15, right? Do we want to put anything out there saying we're gonna pay ever again for the second hand? Because if we do that, we're committing to paying the second hand. Are we
I
not?
mean, we had him do
If
something.
we say pending an audit, we're gonna pay the other 50%.
Any more that they're asking for.
Oh, not the other 50, okay.
No, but
Just, I didn't want to.
no more funds until there's an audit.
Oh, no, okay,
Yes.
that's.
Or audit under contract.
Okay, audit under contract, but much, I'll go along with that second.
So we're getting them at the end of the third quarter to get something to us. That they're doing an audit.
Committed to an audit under that the contract is with an auditing firm. So is that what you're saying, Chris?
Right.
And then at that point, we'll have actual figures even if they aren't, we'll have actual figures, not projected.
Well, we'll have only third quarter figures.
Well, I mean, before we pay it,
And,
end of the year, before we pay at the end of the year, I would have,
you know,
if we do pay.
yeah, because there's a couple things that I would like to talk to Chief about with respect to the second half of the funds, because if the state FAP funding is going to, it sounds like it's gonna be coming through in the budget. We'll see what happens.
At the $8,000 level.
Yeah, it's.
At 8,000, I got it. Oh, because that would be at the 8,000, no, it's gonna 8,000. I just want to, that when it comes through May 2020, when it is paid May 2025. I wanna make sure that if that's, and this is where I need to get clear in my head, that's as of June 1st, 2024. To May 2025. Some of that is 24 monies. And if we're paying for that we're not getting now, that should be credited back. I'm just not sure how that's gonna work, so just want you to know, keep on top of that. Right? Does that make sense?
I know what you're saying, I don't think it makes sense.
I can tell you how it's gonna work, you ain't gonna see it.
He's received his he received now the $79 for the prior year, I assume, the
For 2023,
2024, whatever payment you want to call it, we received now, it's coming through the city, that's $7,900. So I assume that's a mid-year payment to a mid-year, covering mid-year to mid-year, is that what that is?
oh, okay. I don't know. I'll look into that. Okay.
So there's still a motion on the floor.
No, releasing the $15,000, so there was discussion about tying it to an audit.
Which there has not been anything from Reynolds to add there.
We, paying the $15,000 for the projected shortfall and releasing no other funds until we're under contract.
That's the discussion, but no one's made a motion to amend the mail.
Yeah, and that's, I just want to make sure that it got the right wording when I'm trying to work through it. And not to release additional projected dollars until we're under contract and we have an idea of what the projected shortfall remaining would be for the year.
I don't think you need all the projections in there, just say no more funds until there's an audit and under contract.
Well, I assume you also want to say no more funds unless there's a need for those. funds.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at, because we could say we're under contract, give me the money. No, we want to make sure we know what the need is going to be. And that we're under a contracted audit. Jim, are you okay with that?
this was probably stated right away in this discussion, which seemed like a long time. First question is, did we commit the 15,000 or did we just set it aside potentially?
If they needed it, yes.
My second question is, why are we in agreement to pay it right now?
So we got a cash flow issue going on, that's my assumption, is.
That's
That's from a year-end
We're
shortage.
not
Are we
gonna-
at a June 18th shortage, 17th shortage? I mean, is he short right now? Or is this projected he'll be short at the end of the year?
Must have been discussion on that at the meeting, because it went to the 50%.
There was discussion. I asked, I said, if this, you're projecting this at the end of the year, that we're gonna be short, he said yes. And I said, then why are we talking about it now? And he says, because we are short on the budget, he showed us the budget, and I said, but every month that's like being short and over. Because sometimes at the beginning of the year, you know, we need to pay a little bit more, and then we get revenue in from the last 2 months, and that goes back and forth, and he said, we need it now.
Yeah.
I got nowhere, I'm sorry, I got nowhere.
I'm just thinking, if he needs it that bad now, and we're not even at the midway point of the year, he's gonna really need it bad at the end of the year. I mean, I don't see what 15,000 would normally do for it.
Well, that's just from
No,
us.
I know,
There's
but I
4
mean-
other towns that are gonna be
Yeah,
putting money, if you look at this.
no, I did, I understand that part.
But
Yeah,
we're
that's
looking,
right, but,
yeah.
It's the second half where taxes coming in.
I mean, I feel like we were always gonna give it there anyway, but it's kind of funny that we're talking about, well, but no more, because we sound like we're not believers in this audit coming out right. So maybe we should withhold all of our funds until we see what the audit does.
Yeah,
Or just under
I would like to say, it's
We don't
not,
really believe that this is gonna turn out well, but here's 15,000 anyway.
I don't think it is gonna turn out well, it's just not good business practice not to have an audit, I think everybody realizes that, and I just think, you know, it should be done, and they've been pushing for it, this just helps to advance that to get done, number one. Number two, it's gonna be needed, I can almost tell you, it's just, I don't know.
Well, I'm sure it's gonna be needed, that's not my point. Just think,
Yeah.
maybe we're not. Maybe it's not honestly.
No,
Maybe it's not, or maybe it's not earned
I,
because of mismanagement or
I wanna be real careful,
poor budgeting, if you wanna call it that.
if I do that,
Maybe it's not
Yeah.
earned.
I would not say that I do not feel, I am not uncomfortable that there's mismanagement, no.
Okay.
That's my personal feeling. Can we do better with budgeting? Yes.
But I think, I don't mean mismanagement as in anything nefarious, I mean mismanagement. Budgeting is a huge part of managing. So if you're misbudgeting, you are by definition mismanaging. Since that's what managers do. But again, I feel like although we didn't actually commit to it, I'm probably gonna go okay with it, but I guess I'll really be sick and hard with what Chris said about the slides.
It feels like this is kind of being dumped on us, and it's not being a sub roads or anything, but we're talking about some pretty serious things here, and it's kind of, it feels somewhat irresponsible that it's being put on our laps at the last minute of, we need this money, we need it now. This again is not, you know, a tree or a, you know, adding new wild grass somewhere. It's literally services that are needed. I think there's a frustration there that kind of being put in this predicament to do it. I personally, I'm fine going with the budget's 15,000 we have, but something's drastically got to change. I don't like the way it feels, it's just, doesn't seem right. We're here to pick up the slack for mistakes or perceptions.
Or the lack of funding
Yeah.
from the government.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to add that audit or not to the,
Well, I did, Jim seconded it. Did you get it okay, Ramona?
So we're amending the original motion to include no extra funds distributed until auditor is under contract and a need is proven.
Yes,
Is that okay?
that's what I
we
did.
need that as a motion?
I did.
She did.
Amendment.
Okay. So we vote on the amendment first. Any discussion on the amendment?
I think you were voting for on the amendment. I'm good up until then, I know what I'm doing.
We're voting to add, criteria to the main motion such that we cannot or will not give more money unless there is an audit under, contract. It doesn't mean that more money will be forthcoming, just that this council will not give any further money without that audit.
And can I vote yes for the amendment and no for the overall?
Certainly.
You can do whatever you want.
It just feels weird to say yes to amendment and then go back the other way. So,
Are we also adding that they need to prove that the funds are needed before we're putting that in the amendment too, correct?
Well, was that your motion, Kate?
Well, how do we
No,
define,
how do you prove that?
how do we define needed? I mean, they're going to be needed,
Yeah,
but are they gonna be needed for the right things? Needed because we've done everything we can, we've cut budget, we've cut staff, we've done this, and we're still short, we need it, okay, cool, you need it. Otherwise, yeah, we're short, so we need it. So how do you define need it?
I'm not defining
No,
that.
not you, I'm looking at you,
Okay.
that's my next.
Oh, okay.
How does one define
Yes,
needed?
you're right.
If we use the word legitimate, then we could come back and define legitimate at the time, right?
Another ambiguous term, but.
Well, we could come back and define legitimate at the time. We won't, we don't think of
As agreed on by
legitimate.
the council.
Just saying.
Are you trying to say if this program, because the other one, the FAP funding isn't given, right?
Yes.
The unknown is in the
GEMT.
facility, so that, if at the end of the year, that someone can definitively say, here's what we lost on this program, that I think the rest of the budget is.
Yeah, because they should be able to tell, these are the number of transfer calls we went on. This is the revenue that we got from the transfer call. We know that. We know that by his, every time he hands one of these out, folks, at a council meeting on here, and it tells you what the revenue is for transfers. They call it the flex for now. So, yeah, that's,
I guess I just want to say, I want it out. That if the six of us decide that not enough has been done, not legal, not legitimate, not this, but the six of us have said, so I don't want to promise this money and then have us sit here 6 months from now going, come you promised him, you know? I want it out that the six of us can discuss again and decide if we
You have that
feel
right.
that it's legitimate. That's what I want in that amendment.
we have that right. Absolutely. And even with this, what the fire district board decided last Thursday night was you people on the commission, on the board, meaning me, go to your council and ask if they would 50% of this. They can't make that motion to say City of Edgerton's gonna pay it. They direct me, and then you guys make that decision. So getting to what you're saying, yeah, come, what, 6 months from now? You got the right to say yes or no, correct?
That's what I wanna make sure, sometimes we seem to get roped into, well, we promised them, or, you know, we.
No, but I would suggest everybody have an open mind
Our hands are
and
tied.
think about what service we're talking about.
The way I view the amendment is sending a signal, because I don't view the main motion as requiring us to give any more money beyond the 15,000, assuming that passes, of course.
Right.
So I think if a message is to be sent, this sends a message. I don't know that it's necessary to not get roped in to, making, a further contribution.
However, we don't get roped in and kind of.
I didn't hear anything promising anything in the future.
No, I just don't want to, I just
Right.
wanna make sure, because so much has been said. I don't wanna fall into something that we somehow agreed to.
That's kind of why I didn't want to put anything in there on the second part, but the way we're trying to word it is to keep from, avoid that, right? To avoid committing the money.
As I say, I think it sends, the way I view it, is it sends a message that you've drawn a line in the sand. Do you need to put that message out there? Not necessarily, but if that's the wish of the council, you certainly do that.
Again, I don't want to. What, can we get the amendment again, please? We don't want to commit.
Really sure, but I'm gonna read you what I think it should say.
The amendment is that this council will not release additional funds unless an audit is under contract, or has been performed. There was discussion about saying, and if the money is needed, but I don't know that that was made part of the, amendment.
Could the message be sent without the amendment, simply telling them?
Absolutely.
Feeling the board, the council, that
As I said, my view of the main motion is that it is only releasing $15,000 right now. It is not obligating the city to provide additional funds at some later point in time.
And then at the next meeting, Candy can tell everybody there that we're not releasing anything else unless an audit's under contract.
You could say that that was certainly the discussion. I would encourage all of you to come.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyways, no.
I just didn't see it as a motion myself, but that's me.
Well, there is
You
a,
know what you have to deal with there.
there is a motion to amend the main motion, the first, made and seconded, so there has to be some action on that amendment before we can take action on the main motion.
And I'm okay with that whole audit thing, that, I like the idea that it continues to send that message, because I have been speaking to it each month, and I'm the treasurer. I feel.
It can't be good for the board.
It
Not
can't
to
be good for
have-
me.
Not to have one couple.
No, that's
So-
correct, I just am the only one, for whatever reason, that is showing a concern over it month after month. That I don't understand.
I should also note that should this amendment pass, I don't view the amended motion, main motion, as requiring further funds, even if there is an audit under contract. It's just, that is a prerequisite to issuing further funds.
So that's why they
Yes.
get roped into having to say, all right, they got an audit, we're gonna pay them.
Because-
That's what I don't want.
If you look at your cheat sheet here, and this is the part that I was really pushing on. Chief has 3 different scenarios here. The projected shortfall could be this, it could be this, or it could be this. And that's why I continued to push on, if we don't know what the shortfall is, why don't we wait to see what the shortfall is gonna be? So I do think it's coming to be more of a cash flow, possibly.
Okay, is everybody good with the amendment? Everybody's good? Roll call.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Chrisanti,
Yes.
Kribel,
yes.
Motion passes. Now the original motion to fund the district by $15,000.
No further funds to be released unless there's an audit under contract. Is the full motion.
No, that's on there. Any further discussion on the amended motion and the full motion now?
Okay, so if,
There's no further discussion, roll call.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Burdick,
yes,
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Shaw,
No.
Chrisanti,
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-1. Okay,
Well, that's one.
All right, so I got, I gotta go to three now? All right. All right, I will make a motion to approve the pay request number 4 for Quigley Street Improvement Project in the amount of $52,453.74.
I'll second.
Motion and second to pay. Payment number 4, the Quigley Street Improvement. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Shaw,
Yes.
Kribel?
Yes.
Chrisanti,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve the LexisNexis agreement.
I'll second.
Motion and second to approve the, motion and second to approve the LexisNexis agreement. Any discussion?
Just to let the council know that this is increasing our fee from $2 to $5. Along with other things, but that's $2 to $5.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Shaw,
Yes.
Kribel?
Yes.
Chrisanti,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve the event packet for Edgerton History Hop on August 15th.
I'll second.
Motion and second to approve the packet for Edgerton History Hop. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Shaw,
Yes.
Kribel?
Yes.
Chrisanti,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve the event packet for National Night Out on August 6th and waiving all fees.
I'll second that.
Motion and second to approve the event packet for National Night Out. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Shaw,
Yes.
Kribel?
Yes.
Chrisanti,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve temporary Class B beer license for Edgerton Tobacco Days for the Edgerton Night Market on June 21st.
I'll second.
Motion and second to approve temporary Class B beer license. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Shaw,
Yes.
Kribel?
Yes.
Chrisanti,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Motion passes.
And then we are going to be combining or giving approvals for each of the different classes. I do have a question. So I want all of my approvals to be that they are in good standing. And that they don't owe is good standing mean they don't owe us any money? Can I just say that these accounts are in good standing and leave it at that?
I think good standing could, involve something else, so I would say good standing and do not owe any funds, fees.
That's what I said. I was trying to get away from having to say that again. Okay, we'll say it again. All right, so I will make a motion to approve Class B combination beer liquor license, subject to the account being in good standing and absent owing the city any fees for Town and Country Club, Inc., agent Matthew Rivers, Two Brothers Bar LLC, DBA Two Brothers Bar and Grill, agent Merlina Benucci, 1102 North Main Street LLC, DBA Cafe on Main, agent Merlina Benucci, El Patron Mexican Grill, agent Alejandro Ramirez Mesa, Last Night Bar and Grill LLC, agent Terry Notisted, Henry Street Enterprises, DBA Henry Street Social, agent Kathleen Bashan. Hessian. I even wrote it, I tried Hessian, I tried to do it, thank you. Young Fire Pit Stop, DBA The Pit Stop, agent Patricia Young. 124 West Fulton Street, DBA Red Baron, agent Merlina Manucci. 112 West Fulton Street, LLC, DBA Lounge 1848, agent Merlina Benucci. And Collective Specialties Rental, LLC, DBA Atria Hall, agent Carla Storley.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve the licenses for, we all have them again.
oh,
If you want to.
Class B combination beer liquor license. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Shaw,
Yes.
Kribel?
Yes.
Chrisanti,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve Class B beer license, subject to this account being in good standing and absent owing the city any fees Campbell Boys LLC, agent Dustin Campbell.
I'll second.
Motion and second, approve Class B beer license, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Shaw,
Yes.
Kribel?
Yes.
Grisanti?
Yes.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Yes.
Burdick?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve Class A combination beer and liquor license renewal, subject to the account remaining in good standing and absent owing the city any fees. Sagia Enterprises LLC, DBA A to Z Mini Mart, agent Mahesh Sakicha. Casey's Marketing Company, DBA Casey's General Store, 3731, agent Melissa Frank. 424 Game Day Liquor, Inc., agent Chandras Patel. Dave's Family Foods, Inc., DBA Perry's Piggly Wiggly, agent Nathan Perry. And Burns Full Service LLC, agent Casey Burns.
I'll second.
Motion and second, approve the Class A combination beer and liquor licenses, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Shaw,
Yes.
Kribel?
Yes.
Grisanti?
Yes.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Yes.
Burdick?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Approve Class A beer license renewal for these two accounts, subject to them being in good standing and absent that they owe the city any fees. Quick Trip Inc., DBA Quick Trip 675, agent Lauren Spores. Quick Trip Inc., DBA Stop and Go 1500, agent Nicholas Pepler.
I'll second.
Motion and second to approve Class A beer licenses, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Shaw,
Yes.
Kribel?
Yes.
Grisanti?
Yes.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Abstain.
Burdick?
Yeah.
Motion passes 5 with 1 abstention.
Make a motion to approve Class C wine license renewal, subject to the account being in good standing and absent owing the city any fees for Campbell Boys LLC, agent Dustin Camp.
I'll second.
Motion and second for Class C wine license, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Shaw,
Yes.
Kribel?
Yes.
Grisanti?
Yes.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Yes.
Burdick?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve cigarette, tobacco, and electronic vaping devices renewal, subject to these accounts being in good standing, absent owing the city any fees for Casey's Marketing Co., DBA Casey's General Store, Burns Full Service LLC, Sakusha Enterprises LLC, DBA A to Z Mini Mart, 424 Game Day Liquor, Inc., Dave's Family Food, Inc., DBA Perry's Piggly Wiggly, Quick Trip Inc., DBA Quick Trip 675, Quick Trip Inc., DBA Stop and Go 1500, and then Hemp 1848 Inc.
I'll second.
Motion and second to approve the cigarette, tobacco, electronic vaping device renewals, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Shaw,
Yes.
Kribel?
Yes.
Grisanti?
Yes.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Abstain.
Burdick?
Yes.
Motion passes 5 with 1 abstention.
Make a motion to approve sandwich board sign permits, subject to the accounts being in good standing and absent owing the city any fees for Two Brothers Bar and Grill, Campbell Boys LLC, and Henry Street Social.
I'll second.
Motion and second to approve sandwich board signs, permits, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Shaw,
Yes.
Kribel?
Yes.
Grisanti?
Yes.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Yes.
Burdick?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve private property on public sidewalk permit, subject to the accounts being in good standing and absent owing the city any fees for Burns Full Service, Kathleen Bashan, Campbell Boys, and Two Brothers Bar and Grill.
I'll second.
That's why I paused. I knew I messed it up. I even wrote it down.
Motion and second for private property and public sidewalk permits, any discussion other than Candy's name? Roll call.
Shaw,
Yes.
Kribel?
Yes.
Grisanti?
Yes.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Yes.
Burdick?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And after an hour, finance is done.
Library board.
All right, the library board met on the second Tuesday of the month, which I think was the fourth, I don't remember the date. We discussed, well, we paid our bills and we did our elections for our, officers. The only change was that, Christine stepped down from treasurer and we elected, Tracy Burrow.
Thank you. Planning Commission, we got a couple things to do here.
I'll make a motion to approve extraterritorial land division to create 2 lots for Hermanson on County Page in section 32 in town of Albion. Second.
Is that right? It's down.
Maps. I think it's.
It's not a beach, is it? Land?
Should be, yeah.
And foundation on the wrong side of
Yeah.
town.
Are we good with that being on the agenda like that?
I withdraw my motion.
It's not good when the lawyer giggles.
What is the chance of, forgive me, what is the chance of confusion on these? I don't know where.
H is in, H is in.
Yeah,
I'll withdraw before it's given to the council. I'll have it.
Is it just a typo or what's going on?
It was a typo, yeah.
Typo on the agenda. Oh. Can't you just,
well,
No.
it's notice and whether or not someone would be, misled by that is the standard. If clearly we confuse, someone, then perhaps a delay of meeting would be appropriate.
Well, we've called out typos before, I mean,
That's what I'm saying, I don't
we skipped
know.
over the one that we just made note of them, and then, okay, that's fine.
I mean, oftentimes it's just transposed numbers and it's on the correct street. I just don't know where H is in relation to N. It sounds like it's a different county. But for you.
I don't know if I can, but you clearly confused me.
And then there's a section 32, in that area, it probably would be confusing to the public.
It does the pros lines.
I just meant if there is a section 32 down there, if there isn't, then.
no, it's on the south side of the county is 32, where it's along the county, it's like 32 is on the south side of Dayton, it's gonna be, it's 32 on the south side.
Okay, gotcha.
So we could get by with this.
You can call it out. No one's here clearly, but know that you might have to revisit it if raises an issue.
So you want the motion to say call the animal.
Oh, yes.
All right, I'll amend it to county.
Okay.
I'll second that amendment.
We knew we should know
Notice
this.
it forward.
Yeah.
Go out here. The ones that
I think those because we have them. That's all the name references, that wasn't in that meeting.
Just way over the other side of James, man.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carried.
I'm not doing the next one.
That's right there.
Make a motion to approve the extraterritorial land division to create 1 lot for King Bomb on Lake Drive Road in section 35, town of Albion.
And then you're gonna point out the sections and spell it with a second.
Section.
Motion a second to approve exterior land division. Any discussions?
Who seconded that?
I didn't.
Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carried. Anything else we need to bring from plan? Some more than discussions with the developers.
Yeah, we will look at council and we will vote it.
They'll be back. Utility.
Oh, wait a minute, before you move on, okay, no, because Ramona had a good idea going that, what would you call that?
Concept discussion.
Concept discussion, yeah, we had concept discussions with developers on that. On different ends of town, different planning commission, we more or less they lay out what their ideas were and we gave them our ideas back rather than having a public hearing and hearing all the 50 people complaining about something. So we went around and a few different things. He changed his stuff. I think he's gonna come back with some decent proposals, right? I mean, it was a very good give and take with the developers from both ends of town. We had 3 different ones, at least 3 different developers were there. And it was just a conceptual discussion or whatever, conceptual plan discussion that we're supposed to having a formal meeting with public and all that. So, yeah, it was really good. And so it's a good idea. And I think they all left with understandings of how the planning committee felt, our planning commission felt. So when next time we see them, we will have good ideas. Well, maybe not good ideas, but because one of them we shot down big. No, I'm just, okay. Good idea, Ramona. I just wanted you to get it. It was good. Thank you. All presented.
But thank you. Utility.
The utility commission met Monday, June the 10th at 5:45 PM. Paid the bills, and we also recommended the city adopt the resolution of the 2023 compliance maintenance annual report. I have to make a motion. I'll make a motion to adopt the 2023 compliance maintenance annual report.
Second. Motion on the second to, resolution 1644. Any discussion?
Yeah, what was our grade this year? A?
It was an A.
Yes, way to go. Again, awesome, nice job. Howard and staff.
Let them know.
Any other discussion? Thanks, Howard. Thank you guys for us too.
I absolutely will.
Roll call.
Kribel?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Yes.
Burdick?
Yes.
Shaw?
Yes.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Grisanti?
Yeah.
Motion passes.
I also just want to add that we did realize that we held as chair.
Oh.
Your callers.
Yes. And that was it for utilities.
Okay, thank you. The next item is consider approving first reading, waiving second reading, and adopting the city of Edgerton ordinance 24-10A ordinance annexing lands on Sherman Road from the town of Holden to the city of Edgerton. Is that the ward thing?
Yeah, it crosses this county board district line, so
Okay.
that pushes us to create a new ward because it's in 2 different county board districts, so that's the upshot of what all of these next two are about.
So that's gonna add another line on one of the ballots here in town?
It'll be another ward that will have its
That's
own
one ballot,
ballot
yeah.
with no electors in
Oh, with no electors.
it. Correct. But that is the goal.
I'll make a motion to approve first reading, waiving second reading, and adopting city of Edgerton ordinance 24-10A, ordinance annexing lands on Sherman Road from the town of Fulton to the city of Edgerton.
I'll second.
Motion a second to approve the first reading, and adopt this ordinance 24-10A. Any discussion?
Yeah, so I'm very confused.
Okay.
Okay.
This annexation,
Yes,
the line for the county board district, our seat for the county board is the boundary of the city of
but
Edgerton.
we're talking county board.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm clear now. I didn't know if we were adding another seat here at the table.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Got it. Thank you.
not another district, it's a ward. so
A ward, that makes
that's how
sense.
we
Thank you.
Address this fact that this one person, if they lived in this
Yeah.
area, would have a different ballot. Someone would go down the other side of Sherman Road because they have a different county board representative.
Oh, okay.
Could redistrict county board there.
Yeah, they said go Mountain.
Over there. Okay, where we at? Roll call.
Shaw?
Yes.
Kribel?
Yes.
Grisanti?
Yes.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Yes.
Burdick?
Yes.
Motion passes. Next item is consider approving the first reading of city of Edgerton ordinance 24-12 ordinance to amend section
134-1, board boundaries and automatic district boundaries, city of Edgerton.
Make a motion to approve and can we waive second reading? Second. Is there only two for these? Correct. Motion to approve and waive the second reading.
Second.
Motion second to approve. And waive second reading of city of Edgerton ordinance 2412, any discussion?
So District 3 is picking this up with nobody in there, and, right?
That's correct.
Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Andy Davis,
Yes.
Kribel,
Yes.
Grisanti,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yeah.
Burdick,
Yes.
Motion passes. Next item is consider city of Edgerton proclamation recognizing June 29th as Patriotic Concert Day.
So move.
Motion and second to recognize June 29th as Patriotic Concert Day. Badger Courthawks are playing up or performing up at the EPAC that day. They raise money for veteran services. And any proceeds will go to that. There is the proclamation in here. I think the time is 1:30. It's in the afternoon on the 29th. Yes, fundraiser for veteran services around October. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Burdick,
Yes.
Kribel,
Yes.
Grisanti,
Yes.
Candy Davis.
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Motion passes. What we want to do this tonight,
The council.
the tip presentation,
Can we
move it to another meeting.
just think like that? Yeah. I mean, there's.
Tim
it's
had
not like
screwed
it's-
us up here all night. All his licenses and expired and stuff.
It's not like it's a time sensitive thing right now, correct? Purely to look, yeah. No, I would like.
We need a motion to the.
We did last month.
I think we took out the agenda last month. Yeah.
I don't know, my notes are not motion to that effect, so.
I don't think we have to have a motion if we just choose not to take any action on it.
Okay. Everybody good with that?
No, put it on a future meeting where there's not much going on.
Okay. You will not have a motion to do that. Mayor, all the person staff reports. This week you got the Friday night market again. Farmers market on Saturday morning. And then, the Lear celebration of life is Saturday afternoons. Plenty going on this weekend downtown here. I think that's all I have. Anybody else has anything?
Can I bring up one quick one on the summary of expenditures from the treasury report here? On the backside there, we have about 6 of them up from the bottom. It says celebration. And they've got a budget of $13,291. Who told you guys it's my birthday next month? That's going over and above and beyond, but that's okay with me. Donuts or something is simple. It doesn't have to be that much. No, I'm good. Easy.
No expenses will be spared.
All this stuff on his birthday for planning. Cake and ice cream.
I had those. I didn't know there were, apologies for the last meeting. I didn't. Well, I know that, I mean, I did kind of, let you, thanks, that's.
Anybody else have anything? Anybody else want to be out of here?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks for.